Alright, so we're going to learn another little fun tool that you can use in the graphics program. You may want to use images from the web, or you may want to create an image um, in another piece of software like Photoshop or something. Maybe you don't want to piece together circles and squares and things like that, and you want to just make something in Photoshop and then bring it into Calico to move it around and use it in your animation. So you can do that, and I'm going to show you a couple of different things that you need to know in order to use these things. So first of all, the basic construction of how to use an image that you've made elsewhere or found on the web or whatever is to use this from Pictures, Make Picture. So it's down here, and you're going to give it a file name. Now, you can see down here that I have my file name in, let's pull this up. I have this in quotes, and I just have the name of a file. And the reason I can do that is that I have the picture and the program saved in the same place. And that makes your life a whole lot easier. So what you can do, if I hold my mouse over this tab, you can see that it tells me where I have my file saved, which is /user/lblinken/document/programs, and then I have this file saved in there called images.jig. So when you're saving your images, it's best to save it in the program that you in the same folder as the program that you're using. It'll just make your life easier. Otherwise, you have to type this whole long thing in there, which most people don't want to do. So if you need to save your file somewhere that makes sense, you can go to File and then Save As, and then just remember where you saved it. Put it into Documents. I keep a folder called Programs where I save all my programs. You might do the same thing. Just have a specific place where those programs are located. And then when you go to save your image, you're going to save it in the same place. And speaking of images, we're going to actually go through that process because a lot of people sometimes people get hung up on doing this, and different places do different things in terms of using images. So I'm over here in Google Chrome, but this works pretty much the same in any browser, so it doesn't really matter. I've done a search for cats. I'm in Google. I'm in Google Images. So to get to Google Images, there's an image thing at the top. You can click on that, or you can just type images.google.com. So I don't actually want a photograph of a cat because I'm using this in a computer program, and I'm going to have it move around and look like, part of my animation. If you click on Search Tools, you see that you get some options here for images. And one of your options is type. And right now this is set to any type. And if you want to use something that is not a photo, you can choose Clip Art. And that gives you some cute little photos that you can use, a few cute little drawings. You can also try line drawing. Most of these are going to be black and white, but you might try, let's go back to clip art, which is a little more fun. The other thing that you can do under search tools is you can find a reasonable size. So I'm actually going to choose medium, because the large ones are going to be too big to show up in my program. So that's going to narrow it down so they have medium images in here. You could also choose larger than or smaller than, or you can type in exactly. Let's leave it at medium and see what that gets us. And in fact, when you mouse over these things, it tells you about how big they are. And our window is only 500 by 500, and I'm going to show you how to scale these, but sometimes it's easier to not have to scale them to start off with. So let's take a cat that we could use. I kind of like this little cat right here. That's 507 by 800. Saw a similar one. This is a little smaller, so let's click on this. So we can either visit the page, which will take us to the web page that's located at, or you can go to View Original Image, and that just gives you the image by itself. And then what you can do is you can click File, Save Page As, and our page is just an image right now. And here's where you want to make sure that you save it in the right place. Now this will be different depending on whether you're on a Mac or a PC, but you're going to find the folder, and I'm in Documents, and I want to find Programs. It's down here, and that's where I want to save it. And I'm going to rename it while I'm at it. So I'm going to call this Cat2 because I downloaded one earlier. So I'm going to save that. So that should show up in my computer program now. So I'm going to go back to my computer program, and I have Cat1 in here, and now I'm going to change this to Cat2 so we can see that other image in here. And once you have this image and this file name in here correctly, and you'll notice I've named it, I've got a variable here, I just called it pic. You could name it cat, whatever makes sense to you. And then you're going to draw it just like any other shape. This could be circle, as we did when we drew circles and rectangles and things. In this case it's going to be pic because that's what we called our picture. And then underneath here I've actually scaled my image by a quarter. So I don't know if that's going to work for this one because I haven't seen what that looks like. We'll just see what it looks like. And then just like any other shape, you can move your shape around the screen. You can do all the things that we did with circles and rectangles. You can do all of that with any image that you pull in using this Make Picture option. So let's run this and see what it looks like. There it goes. So that's kind of cute. So you'll see that it moves across the screen. Now one thing that you might notice is that I have this white surface around here, and you can get rid of that in Photoshop or any other image editing program. Usually you just select all this white and convert it to transparent pixels, and then you'll have this will be transparent. So you can do that. So this works just like any other image. Now if you notice when I run this, you actually see the cat really big and then it shrinks. What you could do is we could actually put our scale above where we draw it, and then it'll scale it before it draws it, and then that way you don't get that sort of jerky, it pulls it in. There we go. So now it looks a lot more smooth. The other thing you can do, of course, is scale your image inside of Photoshop. So I could actually, you can do this with a lot of different programs. So I'm going to go find that image under Programs. And here's my Cat2 image, and this just opens in my default image viewing program. And it's giant, and I can go up to Tools, Adjust Size, and I can make that so that it's, well, we know that the height is a problem because our screen is only 500, so maybe we only want this to be 200, and it'll automatically adjust the width for us, so we'll do that, and then we can just save it, and it'll now be small. So then if we do that, if we save it as a smaller version of itself in another program, then we don't need to scale it. We can then just draw it. So there it is. It's a little bigger than it was before. So that's pretty cool. You'll notice that it showed up in the default location for an image to show up is in this top 00 location, which it did when it was big and then it shrank. So you can actually, what a lot of people do is once they open up an image like that, they actually put it where they want it to go. So they'll actually move it to, oops, let's say we want it to be in the middle, so we'll put 250, 250, we need to put pic in here. So then when we run this, it goes in the middle. So that's another way to do it. So that allows you to pull things in from the internet or from other drawing programs and use them in your animations or art projects.